Healthy Harrison and the Harrison County Commission are dedicated to transforming the narrative surrounding the opioid epidemic in West Virginia. While our state leads the nation in opioid-related deaths, this does not define us. We are a community rooted in values of family, friendship, and support.
We strive to be strong and healthy for ourselves, our loved ones, and our communities. West Virginia is home to countless inspiring stories of recovery, and our mission is to amplify these stories of resilience and transformation.
The following interview is intended to highlight the strengths and determinations of individuals who have overcome the challenges of addiction. We invite you to share this message with your friends, family, and contacts. Together, we can create a stronger West Virginia, one story at a time.
My name is Alissa Buck. I live and work at the Phoenix House, which is part of the Change Initiative, soon to be Behavioral Health Tech Supervisor at Arch Recovery in Quietdale. I've been in recovery since November 11, 2021, so I've been in recovery roughly about 3 years. I'm here today because I want those who have been lost to addiction to know that there is hope and that there is a future and that I found my future in Jesus. I had a rough start. My grandparents and my family took care of me. I always felt like I was a burden and like I didn't fit in. I just felt like I didn't belong, like nobody wanted me. I was, sexually molested from a young age for many years, so my childhood was very bleak. I started using drugs and alcohol at 9, 10 years old, roughly. One of the first times I remember smoking, weed, it made me forget and it made me feel like I was numb and I could escape through that and I could be somebody different. Around 13, I started experimenting with pills like pain pills and Percocet and Oxys and Xanaxes. I remember when I was probably 12 years old, I almost overdosed on Xanaxes. After high school, I was 16, I got a job, and I just continued to do pain pills and Xanaxes and drinking, and I just worked and lived with whoever would let me live with them, but I kind of just floated, and just never really had a home. I wanted to fit in, and I fit in with the people that did drugs. I had my first relationship, and that was all drug-fueled. I didn't know how to have a normal relationship. I didn't know how to do life at all. I didn't feel like a human being. Shortly after that, I became pregnant, and I just started experimenting with heroin. My son was 6 years old, and I was living at my cousin Audra's house, and she was using meth. Her and her boyfriend and I started using meth. One day we were getting ready to go to the park, and I was high, and I heard my son crying, and I went outside, and he was walking up the hill, and his face was bleeding. A dog from the neighborhood had come into my cousin's yard and bit my son in the face, and I freaked out, and I took a couple Klonopin, which is like Xanaxes, and we drove my son to the hospital and met his dad there, and I don't remember any of it. The next week, I got my son, I took him back home to my cousins with me. We were doing 50-50 custody, me and his dad, and then he just never brought him back to me. When it was my turn to get him back, he just kept him. And that's when I lost hope, hope. Losing my son at the time, that was probably the worst thing that had ever happened to me, because I've had a lot of things bad happen to me. I finally found something that loved me as much as I loved it, or loved him. And he was taken away, and it was my fault. I know that, but that still doesn't make it any easier. I know now that him getting taken was the best thing for him. It just hurt that it happened. I haven't seen him since he was 6, and he's 13 now. From 2017 on, I was in full-blown active addiction. I was homeless for 3 years, on the streets for 3 years, almost 4 years. And I was high all the time, and in and out of jail at this point. I got arrested. When I went into jail, this last time I was pregnant again. I had fentanyl in my system when I went to jail. And they did a bunch of testing, and they told me that He had a chromosome disorder and he wouldn't live outside my womb. I went in and laid down and they did an ultrasound and there was no heartbeat. And then they took me in for emergency C-section. I spent about probably 4 or 5 hours with him and he was cremated. I had to go back to jail 2 days later. I kind of lost my mind. I remember saying, God, if you're real, help me. I felt this peace come over me, like this warm hug, like I never felt that before. And I wasn't in any pain. I felt this peace come over me, and it was God. I was changed. I wasn't hateful anymore. I didn't hate the world. And with this warm feeling that I can't explain, it's better than, I've done a lot of good drugs in my life, and it's better than any drug I've ever done. It's better than holding my newborn baby for the first time. The love of God is like, I can't explain it. Like my whole life was changed. And everything since then has come to fruition, everything. I mean, when I got out of jail, I was supposed to go to prison for my crime. And I got sentenced to drug court and 3 years probation. We called the Clarksburg Mission. Angie Knight, my sponsor, she came and picked me up, took me to Wendy's, and then took me to the mission. And I learned how to live there. I live at the Phoenix House. I'm the house manager there. It's a program that the Change Initiative have made. It's a house for women and children in recovery to live. I think helping people now is like the most important thing. And I fought against myself my whole life, and my arms are down, my arms are tired, and I'm just ready to take care of people and love people. For the struggling addict and for people, even people who are in recovery, you just have to let them in.